What's going on, everybody? How you doing? In today's video, we are checking out another Queen interview. This is from 1985 in Australia. I think this has something to do with their The Works album. So we're going to check it out. If you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. I do donation requests. All that kind of information is in the description. Check it out. Thank you, guys. All right, let's get to this interview. Let's do it. Bam.
Since it was formed back in 1971, the English rock group Queen has sold, wait for this, more than 55 million albums. That says plenty about the group's popularity. The group's now in Australia. Joe McGuinness went along to a news conference.
Freddie, Bohemian Rhapsody was your first worldwide success. Were you surprised when that became a hit?
I think so. Well, Bohemian Rhapsody was a very big surprise because it was like a... it was a risk because, I mean, at that time... a 7-minute single, I think it was 7 minutes, was not allowed, and the radios wouldn't play it, and so we took a big risk. So it was we thought it was either going to be a big hit or a big flop.
You've been together 14 years now, and at one stage you took an 18-month break from each other because, in your own words, you hated each other's guts.
Jeez.
How difficult has it been to stay together all this time?
It's terribly difficult.
What have been the major problems?
I think it's like a marriage, really. You know, you love each other, but you hate each other at times as well, really. You know, and it's you're stuck together a lot of the time. You go everywhere together, you know, and the time comes when you just need a bit of breathing space. And over the years, we've just learned to give each other a bit of space. Actually, I mean, we joke about it, but I mean, we get on fine.
John, a lot of Queen's success can be attributed to your videos. How important are videos to a group?
Well, you get bad videos like you get bad records, you know. Some of them are awful, some of them are good, and some of them make the record sound worse because it gives you preconceived visual ideas, and some of them, it enhances it.
They seem to be becoming an all-important thing, and so much money has been spent on them these days. Do you think that they're overshadowing what well, not just you, but what everybody's trying to get across, and that's the music?
I think like anything else, it can do if you're not careful, you know. It's like the show can take over the music if you're not careful. But at the same time, there's always some real gems. And obviously it's become an important way of selling records these days.
Roger, despite selling over 55 million records, you've never really been the darling of the critics set. Does that annoy you?
It used to, and it used to. They were very cruel and sometimes wrong, and factually wrong, you know.
Has there been any nasty, really nasty incidents in the last few years?
No, just wrong. Just when they get facts wrong, you know. You just cry all the way to the bank.
Looking at your concerts and your videos over the years, you always look as though you're having fun. Is that the case?
I think it should be fun. I mean, if it was a bore, I think we'd all start doing different things, and I think in one way we are in a very lucky position because, I mean, we can
Almost looks like he's not moving his mouth.
On our keep at the same time. I know it's everybody wants to do that, and I think we're in a very lucky position. But it is hard work too. But it's like you say. I mean, we like to have fun, and I hope that comes across. Otherwise, it would be a very boring world to live.
Now the pomp and circumstance continues with Australia's royal tourists, Queen and Hammer to Fall.
Okay, that was Queen with Hammer to Fall, and it's my privilege to welcome them back to Countdown into Australia.
Thank you.
John,
Thanks,
Roger,
man.
and Brian.
Thanks very much.
Nice to be here.
Good. Listen, the album, you must be exceptionally happy with how that's gone.
Definitely, yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
been going a while now. Yeah. It seems to have some life in it still.
Yeah, I mean, coming up with something new all the time, and especially with a group like yourselves that have had such a long period in the charts, you know, going back, what, 10, 11 years now. Yeah. Do you ever tire of the recording studios?
Yeah, actually, get completely sick to death of it.
Yeah.
But
Really?
and you know, the good bits make up for the bad bits.
Right.
But it does go on a bit sometimes. Doesn't it?
So is it good to be back on stage?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Well, listen, you've been receiving rave reviews here, and you've lived up to your Brazil excitement. Must have been a bit of a knockout, that. And I'll let you take over the show. Meanwhile, we'll just have a look at Chartbuster.
Now it's back to Brian, Roger and John.
Don't you forget about me. It's one of my favourite bands, actually. They've got a great drummer. I think that's from The Breakfast Club, which is a movie in the US, and it's in the top 10. I think. And I think we've got somebody live in Countdown Studio next.
Now we have a band very well known to you all from
they're
New Zealand
doing this
originally,
show or
but now
whatever.
based in Australia. These are live in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon with Speak No Evil.
Hello, that was Geisha with their first single, Fool's Way. They'll be in the studio in June, I think, with producer Peter Dawkins. And coming up next, I think we have U2.
Yeah, another great band, even though they're from Ireland.
Damn.
This is U2, with a sort of homecoming.
Damn.
Thank you, Gavin. Now we've got somebody from England with a song I think that should be called Short Boy.
Well, yes, it's Mr. Kershaw, as you may have guessed, and Nick is going to be appearing in 3 weeks' time on Countdown, which is the show that our own singer, Mr. Mercury, is going to be hosting for you. In the meantime, here's Nick Kershaw's new single, Wide Boy.
Hi there, that was the Vita Beats with Boombox and Good Golly.
Yeah, hello, Dolly. Yeah.
Good heavens above.
Here comes Molly with the aptly named Humdrum.
The aptly named Humdrum.
Okay, Gavin, that was the top 10 for this week. We'll be having the #1 prediction coming up in a minute. After I've gone back from the Sunbury days of first seeing you, then to return concert tour here. There was nothing wrong with Sunbury. As far as I was concerned, it was a great concert. Then Hyde Park, and then the Bohemian Rhapsody film clips, and so on and so on and so on. What, in your mind, if it's an unfair question, but what has been Queen's greatest moment so far, do you think?
Appearing on Countdown, I think.
Just like wonderful. No, but I mean, you know what I mean?
Thrill of my life.
I was going to say, what album or what single do you think has been one of the group's favourites?
Rhapsody was the biggest step, I think, really, because that just established us everywhere.
Right.
The video going out, you know, the video got our image across to people.
That was like the first one, so that was why.
Well, absolutely. I mean, like with Bruce Gars, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah, that's
directed
right,
that.
yeah.
And he was with the first of the video makers, really,
That's
wasn't
right,
he?
yeah, we can't afford him now.
No. Well, listen, thanks for doing the show.
Been a pleasure.
And
Thanks, mate.
we'll catch up with you also in Sydney at the concerts and that.
Yeah, I hope so. It should be
definitely.
great fun, actually.
All right,
Looking
listen,
forward
it's good night from me. Good night, Brian, John, Roger. And it's Good Night Australia, and here's the #1 prediction coming up. Already they have a big hit with Shout, and here's the new one, Tears for Fears, and...
Everybody wants to...
Yeah, that was a big hit. Huh. Wow. All right. Interesting. The end was pretty stupid. You know, I mean, there was a little bit in there, but not much. It was pretty much just random weird clips. Okay, so they took an 18-month break at some point. When was that? From 78 to 80, maybe? Is that when it was? Or 80 to 82, or 82 to 84? Something like that. Probably somewhere in there they took a break. Yeah, I mean, especially at the beginning of their career, you know, they got an album 73, 2 in 74, 1 in 75, 76, 77, 78, and then 80. They're just like going. 2 and 80. Yeah, they're just going. You know, once you know, you light that firecracker and it goes off and it goes up, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, they say, right? You gotta just go, cause you're taking a risk if you wait. Yeah, you can't wait. You know, you can't wait too long, cause then, like, what is that? Not everybody can. Some groups, some bands, some artists, they take their time with things, and you know, maybe less so nowadays, but really, you know, it's like those bands that would just take years in between records, like years in between records. That's wild to me. It's like, what are you guys doing? And it's like, okay, you got to tour, right? You got to tour, maybe tour for a year or half a year, or sometimes longer, I guess, sometimes 18 months, right? If you're doing a whole world tour, and then you probably want like a month off at least, right? That seems reasonable. And then you got to get back into writing mode. So, I mean, being on the road that long, and do these guys have families of any kind? I mean, any of them that did, that would be really, I mean, if it's that kind of tour, that's really hard. That's like, that's really hard. Yeah, it's like any kind of relationship, like family relationship, family dynamic kind of thing. They're talking about music videos and videos in general. This is 85 MTV music videos. This is like the whole new thing. It's still pretty new, right? And it's just huge. And to me, it's not detrimental to music. It's helpful, I would say. I would say it's helpful to music. They sold more music in the 80s via videos than they did before that, right? At least at first, like when the record first dropped. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Anybody who was there, is that the case? That just makes sense to me, because it's another emotional attachment. That whole visual, that's another emotional attachment that people can get to it, and then they're gonna want it. they get that attachment. If they see something, they're like, wow, that's amazing, or that's really cool, and it also lights up their ears. You know, if it's hitting both, that just makes sense to me. So, but maybe that wasn't accurate. Maybe more records sold in the 70s than in the 80s. I don't think that's accurate, though. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Talking about the press and the press not getting them right, not giving them great reviews, or, you know, Roger's talking about them just being wrong about things, you know, like being factually incorrect or whatever. That's always the case. It's because these people, I mean, how many of them that are interviewing them, right? Any band. How many interviewers actually know and are like interested in the band and are fans in that kind of way? Maybe they are fans, but they may be casual fans. They may be like, yeah, I heard your song because I work here or whatever. I work in the industry, so I've heard your song and I like it, but I don't know your previous records or how you started, things like that. They're just doing their job, which is to interview, you know, They may be thinking about like, you know, yeah, I work in, you know, entertainment right now, and I actually want to be doing news or whatever, you know, their own personal things, basically. You never know. You never know. Yeah, the famous one of that I can think of is Kennedy, right? I can't even believe that. That's like insane. Kennedy went from MTV to Fox News. Wild. It's like, it's almost, it's just, you know, it's just industry. It's industry, right? So, anyways, I'm sure there are others. Cool. Interview was alright. Nothing fantastic. In the end, it was weird. It was like silly. It's not even worth watching. Anyways, alright, cool. Thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next video.